And the bad news is, it looks like Danny Christie was beaten tonight by Chris Twyneham. Well, Danny Christie was beaten tonight by Chris Twyneham. But the whole footage of the fight isn't out there. And it looks and sounds like it could have been a little bit of a bad decision, a bit of a robbery. The third round is out there, and the third round is so comfortably Danny's round. It's like, it's so one-sided. Without dropping someone, it's about as one-sided as a round of boxing could possibly be. The round starts with Danny just tucking up high guard and just walking Twyneham down into pressure. Couple of jabs get exchanged off Twyneham. Danny comes over the top with a left hook, and Twyneham looks quite badly hurt from it, visibly. And from there, Danny just, every time they separate, because Twyman's grabbing a lot, Danny tucks straight back up, high guard, straight back into the space, catching Twyneham a lot with a left hook round the body. And I've seen a comment that Chris Twyneham wrote saying that Danny had broken his rib, and I don't know if that was in the final round or the round before. And he looked in a lot of pain. And then towards the end of the round, Danny just sort of chucks him to the floor where they're engaging, and Twyneham go flying like he's just chucked an empty pair of tracksuit bottoms. And then Twyman's up, he's leaning over the ropes, and he really, really is clinging on for dear life in this last round. Now, obviously, Danny still, even in this round, doesn't really look like he's out of first, maybe second gear. He really, really doesn't. He doesn't look in any trouble. He doesn't look like he's breathing heavily. This is the final round of the fight. So when we're talking about, like I've said loads and loads of times, you're talking about lads on the unlicensed circuit. And I know this myself because I put my lads out on the unlicensed circuit, or a lot of them, except for the bare knuckle boys. So we've taken lads like Mac Bygraves, who I talk about a lot, Liam Blackwell, from the unlicensed boxing circuit, Conor Gorham. And these lads are very, very good operators. They're very, very clever, very, very good, very, very skillful boxers. They are. So when you're getting Jack Watson's another one, unbelievable talent. And these lads ply their trade on the unlicensed circuit. So when you've got a boy like Chris Twyneham, who maybe he's not the greatest technical boxer in the world, but he's fit, he's strong, he's tough, and he's the home fighter who's obviously sold a hell of a lot of tickets, and he's their champion. And Danny's going there as an away fighter. If the rounds are very close, they will swing to the home fighter. Okay, like that's a given. It happens at pro boxing, it happens at unlicensed boxing, but it's more so in the unlicensed game. So over a 4-round fight, say Danny is giving the crowd a bit of a show and just letting the homeboy work out and stepping off and doing a bit of a journeyman thing, tucking up, taking shots on his gloves and just giving a bit of a show, having a good time in there, not really stepping it on, not feeling like it's a high level of competition. Then you can easily see the early rounds going Twyneham's way, which they obviously have. And this is no knock to Chris Twyneham, because he's a very, very good fighter. At that level, he really, really is. But what we can judge from that final round is, even if the rest of the rounds were quite one-sided and Danny was sitting off and sort of letting Twyneham work, and he thought, right, maybe I'm going to put my foot on the gas in the last round, try and get him out there in the last round. Maybe just left himself a little bit too much to do. But either way, yeah, it does just look like he was, even in losing, really levels above Twyneham. Now, Joe Lister wrote on Facebook saying that it was a robbery. I've seen loads of comments saying you've battered him from pillar to post, it was a robbery, this and that. And I don't want to take anything away from Chris Twyneham, but if that round was anything to go by and that was how the rest of the fight went, I would say it probably was a robbery. But I haven't seen the rest of the fight, so it probably was more so that Twyneham, being a home fighter, was hadn't taken so much damage, come out fresh, come out throwing a lot of shots, and just, threw more in the first couple of rounds, and then the pace maybe picked up with him, and Danny stepped it up a little bit towards the end and gave the crowd what they wanted, and the crowd went home happy and was the away fighter on an unlicensed show and just didn't get the rub of the green because he didn't get the stoppage. And it happens a lot. But like I said in my video when I was talking about in the fight in the first place, for Danny, this is just any other fight. Like, he texted me earlier, he said it feels like I'm going sparring, no pressure. That's the way you want it to be, but you still want that buzz, you still want to be up for it. And if you're struggling to get up for it because you've fought on the top level against world champions on DAZN, and then you're going to fight in a leisure centre in Coventry, going from fighting in Magaluf or wherever, well, Marbella, to then go in a fight in a leisure centre in Coventry. It's a bit of a swing, so probably struggling to get up for a little bit. And then you've got Chris Twyneham, and this is his cup final. This is his FA Cup final. This is the biggest fight he'll ever have in his life, and he needs to desperately prove something. And then you've got Christie, who doesn't really need to prove anything, and you've got someone going like that and someone going like that, and it just sort of maybe didn't mesh very nicely earlier on in the fight. But yeah, you can still see that Danny's still got a lot to give in the tank. And if he did get bang up for it, put in a proper training camp, got down to, 175, 185, where he's more comfortable, because I think he's very heavy at the minute. He was eating pizza before he fought, so he can't have been very stressed about the weight. He's still got a hell of a lot to give if that final round's anything by it, in the way that he's spoke about it online in comments and stuff. He just doesn't sound that bothered. So if you get him something that he will be bothered about, that he will get up for, I think he'll probably be a little bit more up for the Luke Dyson fight. I think we'll get a better performance out of him against Luke Dyson. And I think Chris Twyneham's probably a bit of a better boxer than Luke Dyson as well, to be fair. And I think it'll be a fairly easy win for Danny against Luke Dyson. I think he's more up for that. He's getting paid more money, and that's what he's focusing on. And this was just a bit of a warm-up, just to get a bit of the ring rust off. But anyways, boys, once I've seen the full fight, I'll do a proper report on the whole thing. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Subscribe. Adios, la bosh.